Welcome to Essentials of Acute Care. I am Dr. Sunil Garg, and today we are going to discuss something which is very important and seen not uncommonly in critical care unit and emergency department. Now look at this cardiac monitor where you can see heart rate is here 166, saturation is 95%, and this 82 is the pulse rate which is sensed by the pulse oximeter. This is invasive blood pressure 77 by 52. This is respiratory rate and this is EtCO2. So here, why there is difference between pulse rate and the heart rate? Did you identify the problem? Now look at the cardiac monitor again. Here is the heart rate and this is the pulse rate. This pulse rate is sensed by the pulse oximeter, and if we look at the ECG, this is the ECG lead second. This is negative deflection and this is positive deflection. Positive deflection is at regular interval. In the similar way, negative deflection is also at regular interval. So why there is difference between heartbeat or heart rate and pulse rate? So what is this? Is this pulse deficit in this patient? Since there is difference between heart rate and the pulse rate, would you like to label it as a pulse deficit or not? So before going into further details, let's understand the basic first. Heart rate is the number of the contractions of heart per minute, and the pulse rate is the number of the times heart contraction is able to generate pulse through pulsatile blood flow per minute. So we can say whenever the heart contracts, it generates a pulse, and it actually happens in individuals with the normal heart rate and pulse rate is equal. So now we understand what is pulse deficit. Pulse deficit is the difference in the heartbeat and the pulse rate. Means a difference in the heart rate and the pulse rate. Pulse rate is slower than the heartbeat, and when it happens, when the heart is not able to generate sufficient cardiac output to give rise a palpable pulse, and it leads to pulse deficit. Now we look at the causes of pulse deficit. As we have read in the medical school, the most common cause of pulse deficit is atrial fibrillation. Why it happens in atrial fibrillation? Because of the irregular heartbeat in atrial fibrillation, there is sometimes incomplete diastolic filling of the ventricle, which in turn leads to decreased cardiac output and pulse deficit. Other causes of pulse deficit includes ventricular extrasystoles and pulsus alternans. So now we understand what is pulsus alternans. Here look at cardiac monitor of another patient with pulsus alternans. So what is pulsus alternans? Pulsus alternans is a physical finding with arterial pulse waveform showing alternating strong and weak beats. But if patient is in critical care unit with arterial line in place, you can identify it by looking at arterial pressure tracing. ECG of this patient appears regular. Here you can say it appears regular with tachycardia, heart rate is 109. But if you look at the arterial pressure tracings, you can see alternate alternate beats are not generating normal pressure. This is normal pressure while this is not a normal pressure. So you can feel this pulse, but you won't be able to feel this pulse on the periphery, and this will generate the pulse deficit. Now you can correlate arterial pressure tracing with the ECG. Here you can see one cardiac beat is generating adequate pressure while the another subsequent cardiac beat is not generating adequate pressure. Here it is important to observe that while ECG is normal in this patient, patient has pulsus alternans. It is almost always indicative of left ventricular systolic impairment, and it carries a poor prognosis. Now look at the ECG of patient with ventricular bigeminy. Here you can see this complex is normal while this is extra beat. Again this complex is normal and this is extra beat. It is possible, though not necessary, that this will generate pulse while it may not generate pulse, and it will create pulse deficit. Here you can see This is positive deflection while it is negative deflection. So what is there in our patient? Here we can see this is not atrial fibrillation since heart rhythm is regular. Here we can also see this is not pulse alternance because arterial pressure tracing is showing normal waves, not a strong and the weak waves, though the patient is hypotensive. Regarding ventricular bigeminy, yes, we can say this patient is showing one positive deflection and another negative deflection, and the pulse rate it is just half of the heart rate. So whether it is ventricular bigeminy or not, we will confirm it. Now here comes the ECG of our patient. Look at this ECG. You can see this is normal sinus rhythm. P wave followed by QRS complex, P wave followed by QRS complex, P wave followed by QRS complex. Here in the lead second, you can see prominent P waves. In the lead V1, you can say left atrial abnormality or P mitral. So what exactly is happening in our patient? In our patient, because on cardiac monitor, we have lead 2 in place. And because of the prominent P wave in the lead 2, cardiac monitor is sensing P wave and the QRS complex as two separate beats, and that's why heartbeat is just double of the pulse rate. Actually, there is no pulse deficit in our patient, but still it is important to know and important to understand the consequences of misrecognizing the information from the cardiac monitor. If B waves or T waves are tall, monitor may sense it as extra beat and can wrongly count it as a heartbeat. It may give false alarm of tachycardia or ventricular tachycardia and consequently wrong treatment of the patient. So what to do when you encounter such issues and how we can overcome it? Always check pulse with the pulse oximetry and correlate it with the heartbeat. Get an ECG done and see rate rhythm, P wave and T wave in its association with the QRS complex. Look for any pacing spikes in the ECG. Check the patient arterial tracing and correlate ECG tracing on monitor with the pulse oximetry and arterial tracing and look for any abnormality. If required, do echocardiography of patient. Hopefully, I am able to explain pulse deficit, different causes, how to diagnose it, and the consequences of wrong diagnosis. If you have any concern, any doubt, or you want to know more, you can write to me. Once again, thanks for watching the video.